Hello, my name is Mino Lora, and I am the Executive Artistic Director of the People's Theater and the Director of Domino Effect.
Hi, my name is Janio Marrero. I am the Executive Director of the Latinx Playwright Circle. We are co-producers in the Domino Effect, which will be playing in April.
Hello, my name is Catalina Beltrán. I'm the Assistant Director for Domino Effect, the play.
Hola, my name is María-Cristina Fusté, and I'm the Executive Artistic Director of Boundless Theater Company. So we're here today promoting the play, promoting the community, the game of domino.
I'm specifically here to make sure that Domino, the game, is properly represented. This guy.
I'm here because I wanted to learn more about domino culture.
Building community, being in community with friends and collaborators, and I don't know, having fun, having a presidente. Boom!
Guagua.
Okay. As we're doing this first round, ¿cómo ustedes aprendieron domino? That's the first question. How'd you learn how to do this? I can start. Empieza.
So my father taught me when I was 4.
Wow.
And I remember because it was a hurricane, so we lost power. And at 4 or 5 years old, I was bored out of my mind. I was also speech delayed. And my dad just put me in bed, and then we just kept playing after that. In the candlelight, I learned how to play.
Wow.
Candlelight o la vela que tenían el aceite abajo. You know, the one you do like this? Did you have those in Puerto Rico?
Quinqué.
Sí.
That's how we call it.
Oh.
Pero no, era una vela, una velita esta.
Yo no sé en Dominican.
When did you play?
All I know is that now, in the holiday parties that we have, my brother, like 2 years ago, he brought a table, like a plastic table. He's like, we need this at the party. Yeah. And now we have a table, and we put it in the corner and people play, but this is kind of new to me. But all my friends, they do. I mean, they play, everyone plays, Omaira plays, but for me it's like, it's part of our culture, so
play.
is it my turn?
Yes.
Bueno, mientras miras voy contando que I grew up with my grandmother. And she was so sweet, and I remember her bedroom was where all the games were. Entonces estaba el parqués, el dominó, los naipes, todo estaba en el cuarto de mi abuelita. ¡Ay, no! Me acuerdo de mi abuela enseñándome a jugar, pero que además tenía no solo como el dominó normal, sino como dominos de colección, like souvenirs that we would bring from other towns, like one made in stone, one made in wood. So I remember like those sweet details about it.
By the way, for anyone that doesn't know, I just killed someone. So La Chucha, 00, can't play now.
Where do you see people playing domino? Like growing up, Colombia, Puerto Rico, DR. Aquí, por ejemplo, I live, in the Heights, y estamos en Alianza Dominicana. You walk on Nagel, you walk like all over. If it's actually on a day like today, even though it's still winter, if it's warm enough, people are putting out in the sidewalks. Was that in Lower Side también?
Mainly for me, but in Puerto Rico, en la placita.
Sí, en el Viejo San Juan, I was gonna say.
Yeah.
Porque I live in Queens, but I live in Sunnyside, yeah. And I don't see it, but in Puerto Rico, yeah, you go Old San Juan and La Placita in Santurce, like any plaza, you'll see people playing. En los pueblos, en todos lados, actually.
Get people around a domino table and then put a little bit of magic realism in it, and theater ensues. My father was older boomer, and he was from the generation of Tito Rodriguez, and he was a timbal player, and he played with Mañengue. Mañengue is, or was, Giovanni Hidalgo's father, so he knew Giovanni from a very early age. Anyway, I was always trying to get my father to be proud of me, right? The day of my high school graduation, after we practiced and all that, the day before the graduation, we went to a bar and they had a table, so we went to play. And my father stopped by. I'm like, I have him sit by me. And at that point, I haven't played with him in a while. And
How old were you here?
I was 18.
Okay.
So I'm like, check this out to my dad. And I go, and I get my tiles and I go, I'm gonna win with that. And I did.
Oh.
And that's one of the first times that he's like, Uy, oh, ok. Yo no te enseñé eso. Yo no te, pero...
Wow. That's amazing.
And that is called a no look. So before you look at them, you go, I'm going to win with that.
And you actually did?
I did. Yeah.
But it was pure luck, or you actually
It's
knew
always
what you
pure
were doing?
luck, because you don't even know what it is. But because you are first hand, I'm second hand, third hand, fourth hand, right? So the chances of winning for you are 80%, unless you have a really bad hand, in which case I can take the hand from you by passing.
Oye, pero volviendo a lo que decías de poner esta ficha sorpresa, aparte, me resuena mucho como con una actitud hacia la vida. Como, I don't know what this is, but this is gonna get me out of here. This is gonna be my winning card. And like in life, we do that.
If we could all operate with that level of confidence.
Bueno, I think, don't we do that as Latinos, like, or as immigrants, you know? Like, we acertamos en like, coño, here we go. I mean, we're here. Yeah. You know, it's like, so many fichas are stacked against us. But we keep playing. You know, we keep playing. And like, we have the community. Yo creo que that's essential, que es algo que es, you know.
Ficha stacked against us.
Well, and I think the play is also about that, right? About building a community and finding your roots and your mentors and your people and grabbing from that and in order to survive.
In order to survive. And not even survive, in order to thrive.
To thrive. True,
you know? Because we get so often stuck in that and not, pero como so many of us, coño, because it's hard. Because it's hard. And then sometimes you're like, okay, and then but actually we deserve to thrive. True. You know? Course. And I think that play is so much of like, you know, and it's like we can get this much and we're like, okay, surviving, but then there's some that push. And I love that in the play, you know, because it's different generations, so often it's, you know, Giselle, it's the young Dominica, you know, it's like this young girl.
Ficha stacked against you always brings me to how hard it is to produce theater.
Oh my God.
And the reason why we're here is because we're all producing together, not only because we love the play and we came together through the development of the play, but because we need each other, both in resources and financially, to in this day and age, in this industry, be able to put something like this together. It takes a village, now more than ever, especially post-pandemic.
It's unbelievable. I mean, this is the largest production we've done as the People's Theater, and I'm just like shocked how hard. And like, I don't know how, like, I think the future, there's no way you could just do this alone, I think, for the theater industry, you know.
No.
I completely agree.
No,
I mean,
no
it's
way.
like, and it's like when you find artists and organizations that share the values of the kinds of stories we want. What'd you do?
Sleepless nights, just trying to get money from here and there, and
But even the expertise, the sharing of the expertise, because I love that between these organizations, we all have different things we bring to the table.
I love that.
And that's been great because, you know, you can't be an expert in everything. And it's really, so when you balance and you're able to balance each other, you know, when it comes to design and all those elements, like that's not my area of expertise, right? Or, you know, so the production management and the producing, but the dramaturgy, like there's things that we bring of like how we collaborate, how we bring the artists, working with artists. We've definitely been doing that for 16 years, pero the other kind of, the design, I love it, pero that's not my
we are a
work.
good team.
There was the capacity for more risk-taking because things were, I don't want to say less regulated, they were just softer around the edges.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That's probably not the best analogy.
Capicú.
Eso no es un capicú,
Ahorita que hagamos un capicú.
pero paso.
Oh.
¿Qué pasa? Okay, if you win like this with the 0-0, that's, I was saying this earlier, that's a chuchazo. That is also very hard to accomplish.
Hola.
Hold on.
Trancate.
No, quedan.
Presidente and Domino go really good together.
Salud.
Salud.
Bueno, entonces tiro lo que yo quiera, ¿verdad? Puede ser cualquier ficha.
Pues Domino Effect.
Domino Effect. I mean, so the way the play started was, I don't know if you know this, I think you do. In People's Theater, we work with a lot of young people. Tenemos 150 niños en la academia. And many of our kids in our programs about identity and culture and who am I, they come out to us. 2 years ago when this process began in the summer of 23, it was literally 2 paragraphs of like a play. No había domino yet in that first kind of concept.
Interesting.
Yeah, that came later. It was just 4 people, different generations. I want an older character, I want a younger character, I want immigrants and people of color to have conversations about. Initially it was like, how do we come out and how do we do that being who we are and the stigmas that exist within our cultures to be our authentic selves. Right? Authenticity is a value that we hold. And doing it across generations. So I was like, why don't we, and set uptown in a park. I knew that, in Washington Heights. And then it was when Marco Antonio came on as a playwright and we're brainstorming and creating the outline that he's like, what if it's over a game of domino? And I was like,
Yep.
That's, and like, it really is like in the play, Giselle, the character Giselle, who's the youngest, who's the 19, 20-year-old, engages with that 60-something-year-old who's in the park, ese viejito ahí, medio quejón, you know? And who are those in our lives that we just don't know how to, and my goal really, I think this play is about how do we find peace? How do we find liberation? And understanding that it is only when you have it, and you have it, and you have it that I can fully have it. We're so often afraid to speak up, to engage with people that think differently. And I think theater, and I believe this play will leave the audience, like we're going through that journey of messiness, we arrive at a different place and leave with hope. Porque esto es un modelo de, we are changing our country, our city, and our world one play at a time.
You know what? Therapy is expensive. Okay?
So we play domino, we go to
So we play dominoes, we go to the theater.
And we do theater.
And we do theater. And theater is also the reason why we need therapy. Let's be honest. But
only for both of us, only for us who produce it and do it. The audience, I mean, that is, it's a different thing.
It's therapeutic for the audience.
But we're also reaching out to those people that are outside our network and our usual suspects, right? Like our community and all that. Just because, hey, you're going to see this play. It's a beautiful play about playing dominoes. And then when they get there, they're going to be confronted with all these different themes that are not talked about in their circle.
Yes.
And we're going to, hopefully, right?
That's the goal. And that's why we're doing this domino party. Let's bring in people who play domino en la esquina, right?
That's a whole demographic that gets ignored in the theater industry complex.
Right.
So to reach out to them and invite them to, let's share with you a story that you can relate to. That hasn't been done. I know other companies trying to do it, but the effort to be constantly doing that is very rare. So it has to be for us, for everyone else, especially in the Latino community, in the Latinx community, it has to be a constant effort to not forget who we are creating this art for and invite them. Because therapy is expensive, and we need to play dominoes.
It's you.
Vamos, Mino, esta es la nuestra de ganar.
Esta vamos a ganar.
Bueno, yo tengo 80% de ganar, ¿no?
Oh, now she's getting at the math. She's got the math.
Técnicamente, yes. One of the most important things that this does, and I think that we outside of the theater need to do, is intergenerational playing. I don't know of younger kids, like my sister doesn't know. My sister is now 27. I don't think she knows how to play dominoes. And it's probably going to come later when you go out of the bars and clubs into the house parties, at least in Puerto Rico, where it becomes a little bit more community tight-knit. But
she lives here or she lives in Puerto Rico?
She lives in Puerto Rico. My whole family is in Puerto Rico. I think we need to teach the younger generations to do this because they need this community. They need this therapy. They need this outlet. First of all, this is the reason why I'm good at math. This cathartic movement of playing with people and the connections you make with someone as you play. I don't know that exists anymore. Maybe I'm just far removed. But But I think that's an effort we need to make.
And I think that's why, Domino is such a good connection to, I mean, at the People's Theater, our community production is always, Cata just directed, right? Is always multi-generational. We have we've had people who are like 18 be part of it together with like 80-year-olds. But that doesn't usually happen, right? And I think you're right, that Domino, like we need to teach this next generation, right? And in this party, that's what I'm hoping, that it'll be all different ages. And because that is how, bringing it to like how we do what this means for us in New York, right? How is ni siquiera the metaphor, but like playing a game across generations, across race, across culture. Okay, one of the things in the play, right? We're not just Latinos, but we're playing dominoes, right? At Domino Effect, you'll see that, right? Black folks in Texas also play dominoes. It's not just a Latino thing, and it's not just a Caribbean thing, which clearly I think we're the loudest about it. Pero Colombia, you also play it, right?
There is something, but Colombia is Caribbean attached.
That's right. You do have a costa.
Y lo juegan en Barranquilla, en Cartagena, en San Andrés.
Están ahí. Pero the Caribbean folk play this
this is
like nothing else, and it is scary for anyone else that comes into a room with Caribbean folk playing. Pero ¿cómo tú vas a jugar eso? Así.
I mean, that was what I grew up with, so that's why it doesn't faze me.
Ya que lo dices, yo llegué hace relativamente poco, como hace 2 años, a Inwood, arriba, and seeing like the tables in the street. Yeah. First, I was like, oh, this is what's going on. And it makes me feel great, like to see people that are having these community spaces, but also that being the street, and that making the street feel safer.
Yes.
Because there's people in it, like
yes.
inhabiting it.
Yes.
But also it's artistically so interesting because it looks like a painting, like I don't know, como una pintura barroca, como todo el mundo alrededor de la mesa, todo el mundo mirando. Yeah. Hay una cosa ahí corporal muy interesante.
And that's also true because there's the levels, right? And talking about directing and the theatrics of it. Okay, let's be clear, Domino, it's not, here we're playing just us, and the party's starting to get going. But usually there are people on the side. Yes, it's like, it's a and that's how I learned. Porque a mí nadie me enseñó. It's a spectator game.
That's how I learned how to get good.
Exactly.
Because my father wasn't good. He just taught me the rules.
And like, as I was doing prep for Domino Effect as the director, like I went to Nagel, shout out Nagel Avenue in Inwood. And there's these guys that I always go to, that I always see, and I was like, one of these days I'm gonna stop. And I was like, a Marcos, a mi hijo. I was like, I'm gonna go and stop by my guys. And then one day I did, and I'm walking, like, venga, doña. Me llamaron doña, which I didn't appreciate, but anyway, because they were much older than me. Pero venga, coja la silla. Un señor who's like 75, pero muy amable. Pero no, señora, venga, siéntese. And then the other one's like, quiere la cerveza. So like, I had my thermos. Me dijo, cuidado que viene la policía, pónganla en el termo. Like the subversive act of it, they know when the cops are coming, so you just put in I literally got a beer, we were playing, and then the woman was the one who was winning, and it was amazing.